Hello, everyone. Hi. Can you all hear me and see me? Oops. Yay. This is so strange. I feel like I've been away from live streaming for a while. Gosh, there are a lot of you. First, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for being here. And those that will be watching this after 1:30 on Sunday, March 22nd, you're watching the recording of a live stream. What I will do is, well, this live is going to be recorded, but I will also be recording from my overhead installation for the art part. So this will be a separate video. So that way the image will be a lot clearer, because that's a comment I get quite often. So there is a chat going on, depending on which device you are going to watch the recording. Maybe the chat won't be possible, but if I'm answering question, it's because I'm looking at the chat. And I'm all by myself as well. Danae's not here to help out because we're all isolated. So I'll do my best. If you have any questions, please put them in all caps to attract my attention. That way it'll be more visible for me. Wow. Okay, there's a lot of people to say hi to. I'm just going to do a blanket hello because there's quite a few of you. Yeah. But I'm very happy that you're here. I'm going to try and keep this live session as positive as possible. We are all in the same situation. The world is a little bit upside down right now. A lot of us are also alone in isolation. I was reading the chat very quickly. Not everybody has family around them. I am quite far away from my family, not 2 hours away, but maybe 45 minutes. And I do stay in touch. I keep in touch with them through this camera, which, it makes me even more grateful for the internet these days. And I'm going to keep this session creative. I know everybody has their own frustrations and their own situations, and you can discuss that in the chat if you want to communicate with each other, or even privately with somebody else who's going through the same thing. I'm thinking about all of you. I know some people are also away from their own countries. So I'm just going to give you a great big bear hug, and then we're going to focus on the art part, which I've not really planned. So I welcome all questions about art and creativity. And again, if you have any questions, please put them in all caps so that I can see them. I'm just going to read a little bit of comments before I turn on the camera upside down. Also, sorry, as I'm coughing, I just want to give you a little bit of an update. I'm feeling great. I just have a lingering cough, but things are good. So I did have the flu. I don't know which one it was. I don't want to dwell on that either. If it was the bad one, it was a very mild case, but I was like flat on my back for a good week or so. Okay. I think I have a question. Have made me understand that it's okay to be creative and it's not wrong. Oh, that's a sweet comment. Thank you, Laura. Yeah. Any tips on using gold watercolor paints, please? Okay, so I will keep that in mind. Lupa 57. Yes. So I've had a change of heart, I guess, last year when I thought my art needed to be polished in such a way, or in a very distinctive style. And I've realized that the main purpose why I was creating was for my own good, and also to inspire others to create. And I think we all have a different way to create. And what's important is what what it brings to us. So it doesn't mean that if you're just making scratches on paper that it's not valuable to you. As long as you have the will to create, and as long as you're willing to externalize that, it can come in different ways. It doesn't matter. Just the action of grabbing what did I do with my pens? Just grabbing a pen and scribbling on paper, that is a creation, because it is something that you've made from your hands. And that is what's important. And that is the message that I want to convey. It doesn't, at this point, really matter what it looks like, as long as you are creating, as long as you are doing the action. And eventually, if you keep doing that every single day and you have the intention of improving, because not everybody wants to do that. People just want to make marks on paper just to, like I said, get things out of their system, and that's great. But some people also want to learn and improve, and that's great. And I keep getting the same questions all the time. How did you get there? And the only way is to just repeat every single day. I know it sounds very simplistic, but it is simplistic. I wasn't born drawing or doodling that way. I had to put in the time, just like everybody else. How did you do the black background? Okay, so I know that these questions are very popular. Deborah, I will address that as well. The first one about gold paint. You know, I have a favorite. I've been using the same gold paint for a while. I know there are different manufacturers that do gold paints, and we're talking about watercolor gold. But I do have a favorite. It doesn't mean that the other companies are not good. This is the one that I use, and I can only speak for the one that I am using. I use Kramer pigments. I think the best way to describe how to get a good consistency is to prep your paint by spritzing water or just adding water with your brush into your pan. Let it sit for a little bit, then take your wet brush, and then, I'm sorry, I'm just going to minimize this or mute it. And then when you start painting with it, you want to look for a creamy consistency. How would I compare the consistency, the texture of it? Sour cream? I don't know why I'm thinking of sour cream, because, yeah, sour cream is, I don't know, it's not appealing, but it is sour cream. So that's the only way that I can explain it. The other thing to be mindful of is when I use gold, especially if I want to use it atop a darker color, I make sure my brush is loaded and I don't scrape at the paper I don't press hard on my brush, because when you press hard, you risk the chance of diluting what's underneath it. But gold paint has a lot of reflective mica, so it's a little bit thicker, less fluid, and so it kind of covers what's underneath if you're careful and if you put enough paint on your brush. Did I forget anything? No, that's it. So I hope this answers your questions. I forget who posed it, because sorry, my short-term memory is very short. I thought of for creating, or did you wish for inspiration? Okay, so first, before I answer your question, Jacqueline. Oh, I had an aunt whose name was Jacqueline. I've always liked that name. Before I address your question about the black, so if you are not familiar with this, okay, I have a few patrons on this chat, so they will be familiar with what I'm about to show you. But this is the piece that she's probably referring to. So what I did with this is I used a painting that I didn't like. Hang on, I'm going to show you one that's underway. Okay, so this one I think I only had this in the background. There was a painting that was in progress. I didn't like the way it was going. And then I decided to add more to it because already it was deemed for the bucket that I have right here. This bucket here, it's full of rejected papers, rejected paintings. So what I did is I kept on adding whatever. Sometimes it was just to clean up my brush with all the paint that was on it, spraying water, whatever. So I'm just, it got dark all of a sudden. I just keep adding and not even caring about what it looks like. And then this eventually will turn into this. So if you look at all of these colors, so this was originally there. So probably one of the colors that I added after I wasn't happy with the painting. So anything that is not black is just the original painting. There's a lot of metallic paint in there, gold paint, not gold. Yeah, there's a bit of gold paint, but there's also not markers, pens. So I can't really, I'm not sure that the camera will pick that up. If I move it, maybe if the light, there we go. So if the light hits it in a certain way, you can see it. The colors are really bad in this camera, but that's basically it. So what I did is I started doodling. Like this is just straight up doodle. And what I had in the background, this piece was particular because it was covered in tiny, tiny shapes of bright colors, all the colors in the rainbows and even more. So it was very difficult to keep everything because it was just so busy. Actually, these dots that you see here, these are showing also the original painting. So these things, they were all over the place. So I was trying to figure out how to make this a little bit more coherent, cohesive, a little bit more agreeable to the eyes. And so what I did is I started adding black. Now, I've done this several times. Sometimes I use Payne's Gray. This time I use black watercolor paint with my paintbrush, but I also used markers because don't forget I was using markers to doodle. So in small areas, I used markers, not markers, but pens like this. I know this one is no longer available, but did I use this one? Probably. Yeah, the Deluxe Micro by Uniball. This one is permanent. This one isn't. There is a whole bunch. I mean, I have, as you can see here, this is full of pens that I use for doodling, and also this tray here. I separated them by non-permanent and permanent. So the other way that I did larger areas, for instance, this is big, this is big. I used the Pentel pocket brush pen, which is this. And this one has a brush tip. And it has cartridges that you can refill. And this has, I believe, India ink. I think it's India ink. If it's not India ink, it's a permanent ink anyways. And so I use this to regulate, like to, you know, to make it a little bit more even. So that's how I did that. Do you have a set time of day? Oh, okay. That was the question I saw earlier. Jacqueline. Okay. By the way, si vous parlez français, vous pouvez me poser une question en français aussi, je vais y répondre. Okay, so I'm going to speak French. If anybody has a question in French, don't hesitate. Please ask away. Time of day. All right, this is difficult. I need to take a sip of tea. Oh, by the way, cheers. Wow, we are 312 people here. Awesome. This is so cool. CeeCee brief move to online. I'd be lying if I tell you that I like to create in the morning. Although I tend to want to be able to create in the morning. I remember, was it last year? Sorry, I was trying to create every morning I was doing the morning pages, and I was also uploading them to YouTube. That lasted for just a little bit because when all is said and done, I am a night owl. So I am at my most creative at night. Unfortunately, it's starting to take its toll on me. I can't go to bed late at night anymore. So I don't know how to address this. Maybe it's because I haven't done the morning thing long enough for it to seep into my system and like flip me around. But usually, oh wow, I can't lie. Usually at around 9 o'clock, this is when I get the most creative. So Jacqueline, there's your answer. Sorry. I'm just trying to see if there are other questions. There's people from all over the world. I've got some from Germany, Rhode Island, Sweden. Oh, this is so cool. Is Mona in here? I know Lucy's here. I know I'm missing a lot of people. CB, Amalia. Oh, wow. This is so cool. Jan, I do love the reward painting. Thank you, Jan. Yeah, gosh, there's lots of you. Any tips on using them? I was told they are the best for lettering with watercolors. I have a set of Japanese lettering brushes. Hold on. I had some. What did I do with my Japanese brushes? I had a few. Oh, are you talking about like these? Something like this? I mean, it's dry now, so it's kind of like not pointy anymore. This is Anne Kapitska. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pronounce the names properly. If that is what you're referring to, I'm not well versed with these brushes. I have used a smaller version. I don't know why I can't see it. I have used a smaller version of this prior to discovering like thin, small brushes. And honestly, I just used them to do like, to paint in small areas. So I can't really tell you. I know there is a fantastic woman on Instagram, Nana. Is her name Nana Ray? She does. She paints on rice paper, and she does these beautiful floral paintings. Gorgeous. I'll try to find the name and I think it is Nana Ray. Hold on, let me just, because I know she's on Instagram, and you can probably check her out. Okay, it's Nana Ray. I'm not sure. No. Oh gosh. I wish I could remember. Maybe someone knows who I'm talking about and can put it in the chat. What time is it? Okay, I'm going to do a couple of swipe through this chat. Which watercolor paper works best with tumble brush markers? Oh boy, I've not tested that. Wow. I only use tumble markers in my daily journal, and my daily journal has I don't even know, it's a Muji journal, so it's thin paper. They work well in the journals, but I don't know. Sorry. I would imagine if you're using hot press paper has very little texture, so it's a smoother surface to work on. But other than that, I'm really sorry. Maybe somebody in the chat has experience with tumble markers and watercolor paper. Oh, this is Bristol paper, sure. I think she was asking about watercolor paper, I think, unless I read the question wrong. But yeah, definitely, Bristol paper is the best for drawing. I would assume that it would be good also for tumble markers. White paint and gold. What white paint and gold do you use? I forget the name. Okay, so the gold paint is You know what? I'm going to try. I don't know if I can move my window. It's by Kramer Pigments. Here, I can just type in Kramer Pigments, pale gold. And I will get the product number for you from my phone. Technology. Am I talking loud enough? Okay. So for the pale gold, it is a 502008. So you just have to go on their website and I'm talking loud enough. Okay, good. And look for that product number. It will pop up. As far as white paint, I alternate between white gouache, which is Winsor & Newton, I believe. Not the acrylic gouache, but the watercolor gouache. So this is what it looks like. Are you seeing the wording in reverse, or is it the right way for you guys? Because I'm seeing this reversed in my viewfinder. Right way. Okay. So yeah, it's the designer gouache permanent white. I also use, I think I have the bottle here. I use white ink. I used to use Copic ink, Copic white, but lately I've been using this one, which I really like. So this is Dr. P.H. Martin Pen White. And it's reactivatable with water. So if you put it in a dish, which I usually keep here. So this is my dish. Something fell. This is my dish of, of white ink. And when I want to use it again, I just spray it. Eventually, it just becomes all cracked and is very difficult to dilute. So that's when I replace it. But I can go a long way with what's in that dish without having to dig into my bottle. Let's see. Okay, it's all the correct way. Thank you all for answering. This is so cool. First time catching you live from Los Angeles. Welcome, Patricia. Yeah, I still have a cough, Andrea. Residuals. It's okay. I can live with it. I also have a tendency to have a dry throat in the wintertime, so I don't know. It's still winter here. although it should be spring, but it's a little cool. Yesterday I was well enough to go for a little walk, and it was so bright and sunny outside, and I thought, oh yay, this is going to feel great. And it was so windy. It was frigid. So I just went around the block. Well, not around the block per se, but I crossed the street. I went into the empty shopping mall and came back. But it was enough. Is anyone else experiencing echo and lag between what she's saying and what I am hearing? Oh. Okay, no lag. Lucy, not kiddo, but Lucy, maybe to either, maybe your connection is lagging a little bit, because it doesn't seem that the other people have lags. No echo. Okay, good. Or maybe turn down the volume, if that makes sense. Okay, I think I'm trying to see if there are suggestions for using finished art. For using finished art. You can frame it. You can give it away. You can, are you talking about this kind of art? Because if you are, that's Jeanette. I have you know all about my pretties, right? If you don't, you can search on my channel. Just do a search on pretties, and you'll see what I do with some of my finished art, or this kind of art I'm talking about. Because what I do is I punch through them and I make cards. So this is one example. Actually, this is a good example because this punched circle comes from this, which is another thing that you can do. I put together a little watercolor notebook, and this is half of the sheet. So it was a bigger sheet, and half of it I kept for this journal cover. This also has quite a lot of gold, but it won't show. Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. Right. And the rest I punched, and I have hearts. I have all kinds of things. In the past, I have used scissors, you know, to create these. It doesn't have to be perfect again. And what I do is I convert them into cards. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Cynthia West. Sorry for the back view, guys. Oh, you didn't see that. Cool. So I have also done cute little bookmarks for Valentine's Day. So this is also from a finished piece that I punched out with hard punch. I like this. Again, the reflection is not showing well. And this is a card. So this is an idea of a card. You can do a whole bunch of things, really, especially if you use scissors. If you're not limiting yourself to whatever punch you have, you can create. Oh, I have also created an animal, a bird. Where did I do that? I can't remember. Was it in the other journal? I don't think it was in here. I have created something for, I think, my patrons, and I used parts of finished piece paintings. Okay, it's not in here. Hold on, I'll be right back. Aha, found it. So this is what I did with actually one of the pieces that I showed you is from that. But yeah, so this is kind of like some kind of a bird. And then I created the flower pots. Some of these are, so these are all cut with scissors. And then I have 3 trees or flowers, whatever. It looks much better in person. It's more vibrant. But that is something that you can do as well. There's lots of things that you can do. Journal covers, collaging. Oh, thank you guys. Thank you so much. Okay. Glad to see you back. I'm glad to be back. Trust me. What the one best pen to use over watercolor? Oh, that's another question. It depends on whether your watercolor portion is finished or not. The reason why I'm saying this is because some markers are permanent and some are not. So if you make, for instance, I'm assuming that you want to doodle. If you doodle with a non-permanent pen and then you add more watercolor around it or on top of it, the pen will, of course, the ink will dissipate and will, you know, fuzz up. That's not a word. So if you're not absolutely certain, I would tell you to go for a permanent pen. That way you cover all your bases. However, I haven't found a permanent pen that is non-felt tip that won't wear off, that suits my fancy. The one that I can recommend, because I like a thin point, a very fine point when I doodle, the one that is absolutely foolproof, and also some pens say they're permanent, but they're not waterproof. Water resistant and waterproof are totally different. So look for something that is waterproof. This one here, the Deluxe Micro Pen by Uniball. This one is a 0.5 millimeter tip, which isn't bad. I kind of prefer anything that's under 0.30 millimeter. That's just my preference. I have also discovered the Otto. Yeah, Otto. This is a 005. And it is a roller ball. Here it is. Okay, so this is the brand OHTO, and it's called a graphic liner, and you want to look for the 005 tip. Okay, this one is quite fine. I can show you. So this will help, you know, if you don't want to buy like 20 gazillion pens, I would say go for either of these. I know. So I'm making a very quick flower here. And okay, these are scribbles. So this is how fine the Otto is, and this is the Uniball Deluxe Micro. So it's just a little bit thicker, not by all much. However, these are not my favorite. And in terms of ink that won't bleed, you can use felt tip pens. I'm thinking about Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens, the what are they called? I have them all here. Copic markers, of course. Oh, what's the other one I'm missing? Is it this one? Yeah. The Pigma Micron by Sakura. There's a whole bunch. However, just keep in mind that the tips will wear off if you doodle on watercolor paper because of the texture in the fibers of the paper. So that's one thing to consider. That's why I always go for rollerball points. My favorite is no longer being made. Is this one. This is the Muji Hexa gel pen, and this is 0.25 millimeter. It doesn't get any better than this. It doesn't get any lower than this. I have found, again, this non-permanent. If you are looking into something as fine as this and you are done with your watercoloring, you just want to doodle, this is the High-Tech C by Pilot. This one is also 0.25 millimeters. There's also this one, the Uniball Signo DX, and they have it in, that won't show, 0.38 and 0.28, and those they come in various colors. So, you know, what is this one? Oh, this is a Tombow brush pen. It has nothing to do with thin lines at all. So I hope this answers your questions. I know it's, you know, my explanations are quite long, but there are many things to consider in choosing a pen for doodling. Oh, have you? Oh, yes, I have Jane Davenports. They're here. Jane Davenports are great, but I think they are felt tips. Actually, my friend Z gave me a whole set. Yeah, I think this is a felt tip, but they're great though. This one, the M1, is like super tiny, but this is Jane Davenport's markers. But again, it's a felt tip, so it will get thicker eventually as you doodle with it. And I do, yeah, I have the whole set, the chisel and the brush pens. The brush pens I can see using when I want to cover up a big surface, like the black painting I showed you, or for other applications. But for doodling, I'm not good with that. Okay, I think we have a troll. So I don't know if I've done this right. Okay, how can I get rid of someone? Hi, Gigi. Gigi's in the house. goes, guys. I don't know how to handle a troll. CeeCee, we have a troll. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Do you know how to, Gail? If so, can I put you as a moderator? Because I have no idea how to do that. Click the 3 dots, yeah, then block him, okay? I got report, remove, put user in time out, I guess. Hide user on the, okay, hide. Bye. How about you practice doing watercolor? I will eventually. I'm just trying to answer questions. Click on their name. Okay. I think I got rid of it. He's gone. Yay. All right. Sunny Florida. Hi. I was there a couple of weeks ago. Okay. And yes, it was beautiful. All right. So I'm going to hide the camera for now. So just we can still not call, talk to each other, but I will hook up the camera to my other camera. It's very technical. Oh, like so, I believe. Okay. How is this? Oh boy. We are far away. Oh, hang on. I did not figure this out properly. Let me just do something here. Just chat amongst yourselves, guys. I can't read chat right now. I think I can move some of